Yeah,
let me
I can hear you good. Can
good
you hear
deal,
me?
good deal. I can,
Okay.
loud and clear. So I'm the founder of the SBI framework and owner of Collective Data Coaching and Consulting. My background includes formal education in personal fitness and nutrition, and a BS in accounting, and then I'm working on my. I can.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, I think it's just lagging a little bit.
Uh,
It's just lagging.
I'm wondering. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Let
Oh,
me see if this. How about now?
yeah, yep,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
good deal. Uh, so my coaching experience and competing in powerlifting at the local, state, regional, and national level. Those experiences have shaped how I think about programming, coaching, and performance analysis.
Okay. So for everybody that do not know, you just broke that all the way down. I know I told you before what we was gonna speak on. So the main topic about today is coaching and the difference between that and programming. And the reason why I wanted to speak to you about it is because I think you have the formula that a lot of coaches are missing. And when I mean the formula, some coaches don't know the difference between the two. And this is coming from somebody that been around hundreds of coaches, elite coaches, young coaches, and I don't think they differentiate the two. So as a coach, what does it require, like the amount of knowledge that you need to be a coach? Like what do you consider the amount of knowledge that you need to be a coach?
Okay, so I think it's lagging a bit. So when you're talking on screen, it's
Yeah.
coming to me delayed. But so the amount of knowledge I think you need to be a coach is really just your hands-on skills, and then as well as any type of formal education that you can use as a skill set toward helping you coach athletes, because coaching and programming athletes, as the topic we're discussing, right? Coaching is more communication, right? You're learning to be a part of somebody else's journey rather than just programming. Programming is a more hands-off approach, right? Because we can implement any type of programming as far as low bar squats, high bar squats, 4 sets of 5, 3 sets of 5, and try to make somebody fit that programming. But when it comes to coaching, it's all about how you communicate and relate to the individual, and you meet them where they're at, and not necessarily try to mold them just to the programming itself. Does that make sense?
Okay. So my thing is, it's so many young coaches that'll do one or two meets and consider themselves coaches. Is that possible?
I think to a degree it's possible, and I say that because with these young coaches, if they're a young coach and they have, let's say, let's say they got 2 meets, right? They have enough knowledge and data that they've collected for themselves to be able to go to somebody else and be like, hey, I've got this information that I've worked on myself. I want to see if is relatable to you, and if you can run the same program and implement the same system that I have approached powerlifting with and get strong as well.
Okay. So how many meets or years in powerlifting should you have to consider yourself like just a all around coach? Like from your approach.
So I would say you at least got to have 3 years of competing, and I would say at least 2 years coaching.
That's real solid because I don't knock anybody because you know more so now that a lot of people using like steroids and the peptides, or somebody might go to regionals and they might place 10th place, right? And
Right.
then they come back and be like, okay, I'm ready to coach. What confuses me about that all the time is because seeing so many coaches and a lot of coaches like they program off the old school stuff, you know, and then you got the coaches now, right now, like president like you, and out of nowhere you could take an athlete from 0 to 100 in a year. So what now we're gonna talk about the programming part that me and you both know.
Okay.
Why do a lot of coaches give all their athletes the same program? Like, and I seen this. I don't know why, but that's just, this is my viewpoint. So like, is it hard for a coach to, if he got 10 athletes, to give all 10 of them different, you know what I'm saying, programs, or is it just easier to give them all the same thing, just different numbers?
Okay. So I believe for myself, preference, variability is king, right? You got 10 different people that are different in the whole different aspects. So if you program them the same way, you not really benefiting any of them except the one that takes to that specific program. And I say that because I've seen it too. I watch it happen in present day, and I'm like, some people are benefiting greatly from being programmed that way, but others are not getting the same um, progression. There you go. So I would say the coach is either lacking a skill set to progress those athletes as individuals and banking on one program for 10 athletes, which is not really a good case.
Yeah, okay. Programming. Can you break that down for us? Programming.
Yeah, yeah. Let me get to my notes, man. So give me a second. It's in my ear. Okay, so for me, so program is the initiation of a training plan, right? This is dealing with exercises, the selection of exercises, volume, intensity, frequency, progression, fatigue management, right? So back to your um, talk about having one program for 10 athletes. They all got different fatigue levels. One may work in the office, one may be um, a warehouse worker, right? But if we program them the same, we not taking into account as a coach, right? That fatigue that we need to manage, and then the progression that comes differently with somebody that's working in the office than somebody that's working in the warehouse. The progression gonna be a lot different because then we got to account for fatigue more, and we got to progress one slower than the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like it's more so of me like that I found from me coaching myself and having the help of elite ball players when it comes to this being in this field. I'm really like I sit back and I look and I analyze and I do it all day. I do it all day. If I'm not working, I'm doing it all day. So it came across one time, and I was like, another coach was saying like, coach is not catching on right now. That they think it's like some type of science to everything that a powerlifter that just got in the game 2 years ago, right? Now he's beating people that's been in the game for 10 years or 9 years. So he was basically saying like coach is not adjusting to the new wave of how things supposed to go because they're not paying attention when it comes to programming. Like you said, they not weighing he might be a doctor, so he's sitting all day. And then the other guy, he might be slinging tires or doing some very hard work. So the fatigue is two different things, right? So what he expects from this person, not gonna get from this person. It's the opposite. So like when I say like the program, everybody get the same program, because I've seen it firsthand. Like I think what bothers me is coaches don't really take their time out to really know their athletes. And that's like a crucial part of why I stepped back from being coached, because I wanted to see from my perspective what was being missing. So it's like with you being hands on with me having SSJ Bob, with having Perk, having all these names in my corner, and it seemed like everybody aligned on the same thing. And then it's when you come back to the people that's been doing it for 10 years. They've been doing it for 10 years. They got one analogy. Oh, this is all you need. Make sure your variables in point, you know, sleep and rest. But I think it's more than that, because if I was telling somebody, I don't think that you have to PR every week 4, but I think there should be progress from week 1 to week 4, even from accessories to your main lifts. There should be some type of progress. But then there don't be none a lot of the times. People get injured, they get hurt, and then it's like, oh, we got to pull back, we got to do this, we got to do that. So that's why I say like the programming part about it. Like coaches, they some of them just programming, some of them coaches. So right now, I want you to explain to everybody else that don't understand what I mean from, because you being a coach, you understand this on a higher level than I would. Like I'm just now learning. It's only been like 8 months. So our coaches right now, are they coaching or they programming to you? What do you think?
So I believe we got some outstanding coaches out there, but we also have some that are just specialized in programming, right? But then you also got to throw the variable of it's a money grab right now. You know, powerlifting's hot. You see what I'm saying? So people just trying to pick it. You know, they don't care about the individual itself. They just care about what this individual can bring them and what they can retain from this individual. But once that individual realizes that, oh, the field's been played, now they got to make a decision. Do I just go a different route? Do I become self-coach? Do I take the knowledge that I learned and turn it into something different and actually work for myself? But then there's a lot more failure that you got to deal with in the process. So, yeah, we got some outstanding coaches. Yeah, we got some that specialize in programming. But there's quite a bit missing that piece where it's personal, right? Where you're willing to analyze a person for the work that they have put in, right? So,
I like that. That's key, because they two differences. Coaching and programming is two differences. And what I learned from coaching myself, right? That I learned like I had to take the ego out of things. Like I had to take it out 100%, because it was times where it was like every week 4, I got to add 20, 30 pounds. I didn't came back. I didn't set back. I did everything. I ramped up just enough so I could have enough fatigue, enough strength for that week 4 to push the gas all the way. And I learned the hard way that that wasn't how it go.
right,
Especially with a, okay, so say a 12 week prep, you know,
right,
you really want to save everything for the end of prep. So
Yeah.
that was something that I had to learn because I got injured the first block of prep, and and it took to the end of prep for me to be okay, going into the meet to be okay. And it was like the first time I got to express it, like how you would
Yeah.
say express it. I got to express it,
Yeah.
not the numbers, but I got to express like, okay, the strength is there. It is 100% there. So
Right.
now I know how to go about it the next go around, you know, and touch back on the, like you said, it's a money grab with a lot of coaches. And I think that dictates a lot of things that go on with coaches. Coaches don't really care. Like my pet peeve is when coaches call their athletes clients at times, you know? I was telling my younger guy, he said, no, you know, I said, but this in basketball, baseball, they all everybody athletes. The minute that we change the narrative and start calling, like as coaches call our athletes just athletes and not clients, that's when the bigger media and everybody else see like, oh, they taking it serious. Because if you just my client, that mean like a coach in basketball not gonna call like they wasn't calling Michael Jordan, oh, this is my client. His agent said
Right.
that's his client, you know. This is the one that
Right.
made sure he got the right deals, the right endorsements, and all this. So like when you said the money grab, I think that is something that I've been paying more attention to because coaches just grab somebody out the woodworks and just put them in the fire and form not good, person getting hurt, you know, person you could I could look at somebody from a mile away, you know this from being in the gym, and I just start powerlifting, a person just like, man, I don't even want to do this no more. But they do it because it's like the will to not give up. You paying your money. That's how they looking at it. You paying your money instead of being with a coach that's like he converse with you on the side of not just to be your father or any of that type of stuff. Like, I think that's you know what I'm saying that's another thing and something else.
Right.
But as
Right.
a coach, it's like I gotta express myself to you. Like, are you fine? You okay? And genuinely saying this, you know,
Yep.
um, because from my personal experience, like I was fighting for my kids. I was doing all this stuff, and then nothing gonna work in that minute. And I think man, I'm trying to think. They was just talking about this. Like I was watching a podcast and they was like, some coaches should give a grace period to their athletes. Like if something's
Yeah.
serious going on and it's like, say, oh, you can't pay me this month. Hey, listen, let's figure it out. Let's do this.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if you've been here with me from the beginning and you're an outstanding athlete and I know you committed to doing this, it's more than money to me. You know, as many people that wanted me to coach them, how you support me, how you here for me, it's like it's more than money for us, the ones that really love it.
Right.
Yeah, we gonna get paid. That's we gonna get paid. We gonna get paid, but it's more than that. Like if something dire, your house burned down, I don't expect nothing from you for the next couple of months. I gotta accept that. You know, like that's the coach to athlete thing. It's a bond. Is because I'm you trusting me with your health under these circumstances of you feeling fatigued. You get fatigue on a week too because you worked all week in extreme conditions, and I got to
Right.
understand that, you know.
Yep.
So that's where it's at. So is there really a key difference between coaching like and programming? Like just a key difference? Like is there a difference between those two? Like that can help somebody else understand. So like for a coach that just see this or you know,
So they so the programming builds the plan, and then the coaching manages the athlete. And uh, I believe the key difference there is just the personability that you bring to it, right? Because programming, anybody can sit down and write a program for somebody they don't know. But coaching, you know what I'm saying? That takes you to learn somebody, to understand what they need in the moment, in the present time, and then in the future.
okay. Yeah, see, that's key. That's key. I like how you just broke that down. I like how you broke that down because, like you said, anybody can write a program. Anybody, like
Yeah,
like literally anybody. And I didn't wrote programs, right? And this prep, I didn't wrote programs with people, but I take it so personal that I literally want to learn a person in and out. Like, how do you feel through the week? Like what's the days you don't feel the strongest? Like, and especially having to program for a female. You know, when you program for a female, you gotta consider the things they bodily functions and they hormones and how things change. Like
right.
I learned that, and it was like, wow, like it's different. Like I'm not saying that I couldn't be a coach, but I don't want to be a coach right now. Because with me coaching myself, you understand, like with me
Yeah,
coaching myself right now, I still have trial and error to go through, regards to anything. Because it was like how I expressed to you, like I went into the meet feeling good. I didn't feel good the whole time, like during prep. I started 18 weeks out, and I'll be lying to say like I wasn't as confident the first week or two because I was like, man, I really can't miss. And it was like you came in and you was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And then I talked to Bob, and Bob would be like, listen, bro, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. So it's like it helped to the very end because I knew this from like, and it's just from going to college. Like you already know, like you miss one class, it's like you behind, you 10 steps behind. So it's like me not people like, oh, he locked in, he locked in. I had one person with me for that 6 months, and that person seen everything that I did, everything, like from the coaching, all that, and it was like just when somebody tell you to relax, it was like you got it, like you're okay, you're in a good spot. But I didn't feel like I was in a good spot because it was like write your own program and coaching yourself is it's a lot. It's a lot. You got to eat right. You got to think right. You got to know like art like RPE, like RPE. You got like that's it was very hard for me to understand. And with the new system that you bring into the world that the world gonna see,
right.
it's gonna help a lot of people because with that system, even though it was at the end of prep, it helped me navigate stuff right now that that I understand. Because RP is like you said, it's a hit or miss. And I don't know if people understand that. It's literally a hit or miss. Like, how do you feel about RPE?
So RPE is special, man. The running joke of the RPE 8 is like breaking the whole system itself because so many new lifters and old lifters too, like when an RPE is really RPE 10, and then you feel it, and that's the thing about the SPI framework. It works parallel with RPE. So I use what's called a signal cost score, and not to really talk about too much of that on here, but um, the signal cost score allows you to understand what that lift cost you on your system. So we know that an RPE 8 means you got 2 reps left in the tank, but we also know that if you're using a signal cost score, we know that if you're at a signal cost score of a 5, meaning like a heavy strain, right?
Yeah,
Um, that RPE 8 could quickly turn into RPE 10, right? But we know there's also days where a true RPE 8 can also be a signal call score of 3, right? 3 meaning it was it was controlled, right?
right.
It took some effort, but it was controlled. So I think RPE is good for those that are just now walking into this, but at some point you're gonna have to turn that page and start asking yourself, what are these lifts costing my structure, my skeletal system, my muscular system, my nervous system? Um, the CNS in general, was it costing it over time, over progression, over a macro cycle, over a micro cycle, block to block, week to week? And I don't think enough people are asking that question because we got people out here. Let's take Ronnie Coleman for instance. He can't walk for real, because it cost him. His system literally broke down based off of everything he was doing. And
Yep.
not to talk about him too much on here, but that's just one example. I was just analyzing Brian Shaw earlier in some of his videos, and if you pay attention to one of his legs, one is swollen and one is just like normal.
Hmm.
And the price it costs to be a champion, right? The system takes a toll, a big toll. And I don't think RPE really recognizes that toll. It just tells you what a lift, how many reps you perceive you have left on a certain lift.
Yeah. So you saying that like now this is something else. I gotta ask you, right? Because you specialize in it. This is your field. I'm glad you're on here with me. Because the world gonna be able to see this. So week one, right? And people be like, it's gonna be heavy, right? They be like it's gonna be heavy, or it might feel bad. But I think shouldn't we go into a week one where we feel similar to like the cost of it is zero to one, right? But we leaving from a week four and going into a week one, and the structure you are it's like leaving a meet. The structure then broke down all the way. We not asking ourselves how our CNS feel. We not we just saying it's a RP5 for week one when it's really still an eight. So what do you think that we could change as athletes and coaches to make a week one better to prepare us for a week four?
So I think what we could change as athletes and coaches to prepare us in week one for week four would be our ability to analyze our own data, and then our ability to, like you said, take the ego out of it. Oftentimes we get caught up on just wanting to hit another PR and not really focus on maintaining our own structural integrity, right? But just like when you catch a cold, one of your systems broke down, right? Which is affecting every other system. You can't sleep. You don't want to eat. You don't want to work. You see what I'm saying? So same thing in lifting. If our structural integrity is breaking down because we done went too heavy on week one and we didn't have the long game in sight, we're not putting ourselves in the best position for that week four.
Okay. Yeah, that's it because I see like I was talking to another athlete, and he got a coach, but he's so fixated on PRs. And my thing when I even first came in, I never thought about PRs as like something special because long term, like I said, I want to be the champion. And now we got to that point. It's like, what's next? Worlds, all this, Nats like the only thing that's next. A PR just happens casually when you get stronger and when you pay
Right,
attention. Like I
right.
didn't had I didn't had week threes where I didn't came in and I didn't feel anything. Like I squat and I'm like, oh man, I feel so good. And then I push that button. I push the button. The ego will take over everything. And I learned that in this prep. Like I'm doing something 30 pounds more than I'm supposed to be doing. Than I'm supposed to be doing week four. And it cost. And it cost so bad that when I go to week four, I can't even do three reds. It's like, oh, it's like, what is this? Like injuries happen. Everybody know this. Injuries happen in powerlifting. It's a part of
Yes.
everything. But like you said, it's the body breaking down from load, you know? and it's just not the gym. Like you said, it's home, it's work, it's not eating. It could be stress. Everything just compounded in one thing, and then it just breaks the body down. Um, I got one more question for you, and this one is the one that we already talked about. This is dearly to me and to a lot of other lifters out there right now that's on the same journey I am on. For an athlete to be successful coaching themselves, what has to happen?
So the key there is to have a reliable decision making system, right? And then understand that you produce information at every turn, and the ability to analyze your own information like you have been doing. I think if lifters can understand that and take that upon themselves, they will understand that they're not just wearing three hats as a self-coached athlete. Or excuse me, they are wearing three hats as a self-coached athlete: the programmer, the coach, and then the performance analyst. So just being able to collect information, interpret it objectively, taking the ego out of it, and then applying it back to your block, whether that be in a microcycle, a macro cycle, or meet prep, um, or in a rebuild.
Okay. Yeah, so I think one thing that I learned from like this prep and then coaching myself, like more than anything, and like some people would probably say ego, but I think it was the part of me that paid attention and was very strategic about every lift, everything that I did. Like I missed out on like I don't think people are willing to pay the price to be great. You just talked about it. You just talked about it. You just talked about it. I don't think they willing to
Yeah,
pay the price.
no,
Like I'm being honest. I don't think people willing to pay the price. Like if in 6 months, if the things that I had to endure and lose and pay attention to just to get to this point, I don't think people want to pay that type of price. Like people say they want it, but I don't think they want it as bad, you know? So that's like that's just part of everything when it comes to this lifting and this power lifting and really like the coaching aspect of everything. So like that's when I know like because every coach they either got a good mentor or they had somebody better than them that they learn from. Like I got you, and I learned a great deal of things. So when I talk to people, I'm talking to them from experience. I'm talking to them from years of data, not just from me, but from somebody better than me. And people be wondering like, how do he learn how to talk like this? How do he learn how to move like this? And it's because I got the system, I got the formula. I'm just not willing to give it to anybody else right now because I'm on my journey doing what I'm doing. You know, like it's hard being a coach and then trying to program somebody else. Like I said, I did it for two people. It was hard. It was hard, but it was easy because them people was in my face day to day, and I got to see what they was doing outside of the gym and understand their body and their mind and everything else. So it's like I know in the future, I'm not just gonna take nobody money and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna coach you, write your program. No, you got kids, you got a family, you know what I'm saying? What the work schedule like? Like I want to know the personal things because you might bring up to me one day like, oh man, I don't feel good or my kid's going through this. All right, go ahead, go to the gym, do what you can. Hey, whatever you can't, write it down, let me know how you feel about it, and we're gonna build from there. So it was real good. It was real good having you on a podcast today because I need them to know where I get it from, and I need the world to know like some insight about coaching and programming and know the differences. Because I got two people right now that's anxious and they waiting because they want to understand like where the system come from, like how you move.
yeah,
So that this was key. This is the key moment for me right now. I appreciate you, Coach Sean.
Yes, sir.
This episode one, a locker room talk. Me and you, we figure it out. We'll be right back. So for everybody else, peace.
Peace. Blessings.